amazing one to do as a family because it's so much fun to roll and mix the meat and all that. Let's start with the sauce, though. I decided for my family, since my first word was vino, we would roll with a red wine sauce for our meatloaf. So, in the pot already, turning this beautiful, I want you to really see the color here. We're not going for brown. We're going for just golden and soft. We use a food processor, zap, 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 to fine chop half a bulb of fennel, a couple of ribs of celery, and a small onion. Zap that until it's a fine chop. I add garlic to everything. Throw a little garlic in there. And then coat the bottom of your sauce pot with a little olive oil. Don't put it on too high. I've got it on medium-low. And just let this, get groovy, sweat, and get sweet and delicious. This is the building block of your sauce. So you really want to let it take its time, stir it occasionally, and when it gets that light golden, sweet aroma and that pretty golden color, then you're gonna get it drunk with a good fat cup of wine. We want to reduce the wine by at least half, and then we're going to add 1 can of Italian tomatoes, break them up a little with your spoon, and a fat splash, or about a cup or so, of beef stock or beef consomme. That's your sauce, very simple. That can move forward while we're working on the meatloaf itself. It's stuffed with broccoli rabe, or you can use broccolini or chopped broccoli. So we're gonna put all of this into a saltwater bath and let that part cook for 3 or 4 minutes. Then we're gonna cold shock it and chop it. So he's gonna take a hot tub soak. Down here for the meatloaf, we have a combination. You know how meatloaf mixes ground beef, pork, and veal combined? Well, this is ground beef, a pound of that, a pound of sweet Italian sausage with fennel, yum, that's the pork, and then half a pound of veal. So it's beef, pork, and veal, but we bumped it up. Instead of just pork, we use sweet sausage in there. So now we're going to add lots of fresh rosemary to that loaf, to that blend. We've got fennel seed and garlic already going on in the pork. And now we're just gonna throw tons of rosemary in. And to flavor the beef and the veal, we're going to add some fresh garlic. And then we're going to add our homemade or store-bought breadcrumbs. As always, when we make meatloaf, we moisten our breadcrumbs, in this case with a little milk. An egg to make everybody get along. And in my family, we don't make meatloaf without the most important ingredient, grated Parmigiano Reggiano cheese. This is how you roll the loaf, guys. That sounds so, dirty or something, I don't know, but you roll it into a rectangle shape about a half to 3/4 of an inch thick. Just roll that out, and then we're gonna take our broccoli rabe or broccolini that, remember, we blanched and chopped, and we're gonna scatter that over the top. If your kids don't like vegetables, roll it up inside essentially a giant meatball, and they have no choice, they must eat them. Now, on one end, the end opposite me, just so you can see here, I've left this part kind of bare the last couple of inches. That's so when we get the loaf to the far side, we can press it and seal it. So we're covering everything pretty evenly back here. Try not to overstuff it. If you have a couple little extra pieces of your broccoli rabe left over, that's fine, but you just don't want to overstuff it. It'll be impossible to roll. Then we take a giant chunk of sharp provolone cheese and grate that sucker up. Top that. And then Italian cherry peppers, chopped. You do hot or sweet. My family, we roll with the hot. So these are hot pickled cherry peppers. Yes, please. Then I use the edge of the parchment just to help me get it going. And then you just wrap and roll, just like you would a pinwheel steak. Yeah, not a big deal. Adorable. And then when you get to the end, That's when you can seal it up with the side that didn't have any toppings. And then I put it on a clean parchment. I've got one that we transferred right here. So it looks just like this when it goes in the oven. Very cute. And then we're gonna give him a bath so he gets beautiful and golden and brown. Put the rack in the middle of your oven. Smother this guy with love and EVOO. Oh, you're so handsome. And then I'm gonna put him in the oven for 375 for 1 hour. Insert an Insta-Read thermometer into the center of one of the ends, and it should read a minimum of 150. 150 to 155 is what you're looking for. Pull it out and let it rest a few minutes before you serve. So we have potatoes and sauce on the side. Lovely. So the meatloaf is coated with olive oil when it goes into the oven, so it gets nice and golden and beautiful all over. And then as you slice it, you see the spirals of the broccoli rabe, provolone, and hot cherry peppers. Right? Amazing, right? And you put that down